ancient lines of stones were discovered in Peru. Now, what was the purpose behind the mysterious structures? Well, this is what we're going to try and get to the bottom of. Now, pictured here are a pair of the newly discovered lines of stone in Peru. Now, they may have been billboards of sorts, if you like, an advertisement. I don't personally think so, but this is the theory. Now, the photo here is by Charles Stanish. Now, ancient rock lines discovered in Peru are centuries older than the Nazca lines. Okay, now this is what they're trying to drive home. They're a lot older than the Nazca lines. Now, a civilization called the Paracas likely created the lines. Now, this culture peaked around about BCE 800. So, predates Christ and all that sort of stuff. Now, the better known Nazca culture did not flourish until 7 centuries later. So, you're looking at 700 years here. Now, they're famous for depicting animals in their lines. You know, spiders, monkeys, birds, that sort of thing. Now, an arrangement of stones on the ground are called geoglyphs. Okay, now the newly discovered artifacts or geoglyphs of the Paracas culture were likely created 2,300 years ago, right? So that's quite a long time, guys, you know, relatively speaking. Now, the lines were found in the Chinca Valley in Peru, roughly 125 miles south of Lima, right? And I mean, this has been inhabited by people for about 2,800 years, so this is a sort of ongoing tradition. Now, the director of the Costin Institute of Archaeology at the University of California first reported this discovery. So that was a good call for this guy. Now, they used the lines in a different way than the Nazca, right? They basically created these areas of highly ritualized processions, venues, if you like, religious sort of meetings. Now, they weren't a settled people. They weren't settled permanently. Now, this is the theory that they had moved around, right? Mounds run through the valley. And on examination, they were revealed to be made up of about 71 lines and 353 rectangles and circles called cairns, right? Now, some of the lines are arranged in accordance with celestial events such as sunsets, you know, sunrises, that sort of thing, the full moon, that sort of thing. Now, others surround pyramid-like structures. Now, several U-shaped formations are aligned with the sky on the day of the winter solstice, so there's a lot of geometry here. Now, likewise, these clusters contain a number of paired line segments. Now, excavations in 3 mounds confirm that they were built in the late Paracas times. Okay, now this is what they've arrived at. Okay, and this is what they're sort of focusing on. Now, Stanish believes that these markings may have been used to attract tourists from surrounding areas to attend fairs or religious ceremonies or that sort of thing. Now, the lines are effectively a social technology, if you like, the Facebook of the time. Now, they've been used for certain purposes. Now, some people have said that the lines point out sacred mountains. Sure, why not? And the lines might point out sacred pyramids also. Why not? Right, now, the lines could also be used to point out processions, and this is what Stanish has reported. Okay, so that's as far as he's got with it. Now, England is home to several similar structures. Now, the Uffington White Horse was carved into a hillside somewhere around BCE 1000 and can still be clearly seen to this day. Now, another geoglyph in England is the Cerne Abbas giant. The Cerne Abbas giant. It's a figure of a club-wielding man with a fully exposed dingly dangler. Now, the long man of Wilmington appears to be holding 2 sort of Gulf flags. Now, I don't know what that's all about, okay? Now, the Sajama lines in Bolivia are the largest geoglyphs in the world, covering an area of nearly 8,700 square miles. Now, other similar lines and figures have been discovered in California, Brazil and Chile. Now, that sort of area, okay? There's a lot still to be found. This is what they're coming up with. Now, the study of the newly discovered ancient structures was announced in the journals proceeding of the National Academy of Sciences, and that's PNAS. Okay, well, thank you for joining me today. I hope it was an interesting topic, and I'll keep you updated as always. Have a nice day and keep safe.